Station, my brothers. Thank y'all for joining tonight. Tonight, what are we reviewing? 1982's New York Ripper, directed by Lucio Fulci. One of Robbie's favorites. Yeah, man. That's Did you get the 4K or is that the Blu-ray?
No, it's the old school. I almost bought the 4K this week myself.
I was gonna see. I didn't have the 4K Blu-ray player yet, I don't think. And I saw Robbie had gotten that first, and I saw the lenticular, so I went with the Blu-ray as well. Plus, it comes with the soundtrack. This one, I don't really care as much about the soundtrack, but like, which is one like House by the Cemetery, I got the soundtrack. So good for that.
Yeah.
But
same with the Beyond or Zombie. Mine come with soundtracks. I'd like to have one for City of the Living Dead. This soundtrack's good, but it's not Fabio Frizzi.
City of the Living Dead, which is weird.
Dude, I tried to watch Cemetery on Tubi, and it was like just terrible quality. It seemed like it was really? I don't know, like it was never updated or remastered or whatever. It really threw me off.
Yeah,
House by the Cemetery?
Yeah.
The Blue Underground Blu-ray looks good though.
It looks great. It's one of these because it's got the lenticular and everything.
Yeah, that's Blue Underground. Yeah. Yeah, dude. The House by the Cemetery. That's my favorite one out of Lucio Fulci's.
Bob.
I know everyone hates Bob, but I just love that movie, man. It's like a haunted house creature feature, you know. And it's fun, like how all three of them in the Gates of Hell trilogy are kind of like their own, kind of different, but connect in their own, kind of connect. You know, it's dope.
What three are in that trilogy? It's the Beyond and Cemetery.
City of the Living Dead is the first one, and the Beyond, and then it's House by the Cemetery. And it was funny because when we did the Gates of Hell trilogy, I think it was just me, Robbie, and Jay Strick. And Jay's was City of the Living Dead. Mine was House by the Cemetery, and Robbie's was From Beyond. So we each had our
Yeah. And to answer the question in the chat, my favorite Fulci film is The Beyond.
It is.
It's either The Beyond, and then Zombie 2 is right underneath it.
My favorite is without a doubt the House by the Cemetery, but Zombie's a good one too.
Hell yeah.
So for at least two, it's gotta be two. Right, Vern and Steph, this first time watching.
Yeah.
New York Ripper.
Yes.
Hell yeah. I wonder, should I put in the New York Ripper? I think I should have.
Nobody ever pays attention to these.
Yeah.
Nobody. But
take them or leave them.
Lenticular cover and reversible art on the end, so you get the original poster.
It's I don't know how much better. It's a 4K scan, so you know what I mean. But
the scan on the Blu-ray looks gorgeous. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. It looks fantastic.
Definitely worth picking up. This is one that a little slower burn. It's definitely Giallo, so it's got the detective feel going on. But I feel like this one's a little bit different, you know, than most. Especially with the twist at the end.
It's a little bit more sleazy too. I mean, like some of these movies are sleazy, but this is one of the sleaziest fucking.
Well, it takes place in New York too, right? Obviously,
in the 80s, which was a different. 80s, it's a sleazy version of New York in the 80s.
Exactly.
Like some of these scenes seem like he had these mapped out years ago, and he's just like, yeah, I've got this one scene. Let's throw it in there. Like he's practicing on this.
Yeah, dude. There's some crazy shit going on. I mean, just the frickin' the toe, man. The toe just going to town.
Say you like it, baby.
You like it.
I like it. Oh, she fucking likes it.
Not really.
And then they're just fucking with her. They're just fucking with her. I'm like, no, bro, you had that shit in the bag. Like, what's wrong with you?
It's uncomfortable.
No, we're gonna go home with each other. Circle jerk.
That dude had a large package to deliver, I guess. So.
Jeez, that shit is so messed up, so cringy.
Yeah, it was. It was.
That's my least favorite scene in the whole thing, but it kind of also makes me laugh because it's so fucking dumb.
It's so memorable.
Seeing that gross ass toe.
I mean, they go for it in this movie. There's no fucks given, like
none.
What?
None at all. Yeah, there's a considerable amount of nudity. That's for sure in this.
It's an hour and a half movie, but it's longer when you have to stop to jack off every 20 minutes. So just
Station.
Or is that just me?
I mean, right? We all have our experiences. I guess. I don't know.
My favorite Fulci film is Lizard in a Woman's
Skin. That's a good one. That's an early one. I like Don't Torture a Duckling.
Wow.
That's the other one I was gonna watch.
Don't Torture a Duckling is one I like too.
This is his, like, correct me if I'm wrong, his like return to Giallo after doing all the supernatural zombie type stuff. He was originally kind of known for his Giallo work, for the most part, right? That's correct?
His first films were Giallo, and then
is he one of the kings? He's definitely one of the kings of Giallo. But who would you say like forefronted it? Would it be Argento or
Argento? And then Mario Bava is kind of like the start of a lot of kind of stuff. But I think Argento solidifies it in movies like Bird with Crystal Plumage and Deep Red in particular. So
okay.
But yeah, Fulci did that. Then he goes off and he does the more supernatural, gory zombies, the Gates of Hell trilogy, and this is him coming back to Giallo and amping up everything to fucking not 11, like 13. Like, goddamn, he's at 22, man. He's like cranking that shit, making up new numbers on the dial.
Yeah. No, he definitely goes in on this one. It's one that I definitely because first time I watched it was a couple years ago. It's fairly newer for me. And when I first watched it, man, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was just a little bit a lot different, and a little kind of refreshing on a Giallo take, with what they're doing, because it should be so fucking stupid and so corny, but it works in a way, like the duck sound, you know what I mean? Like you would think that would never work, but in some way it's like awesomely stupid. You know what I mean? But it works, and I don't know if it makes it creepier, kinda, I guess, but it's just like interesting.
I think it gives it an identity to the killer outside of just your typical slasher, woman-hating fucking murderer.
Right.
It gives something extra. Giallo doesn't use things like hockey masks and Captain Kirk masks and fucking gloves with blades on them and shit like that, or pins in your head. But this is, you identify it usually by something like this, and it likens back to what's his name in Black Christmas, where it's the voice, what I'm saying?
That's a good
Billy. Yeah.
Because one thing it does, it makes it memorable. Like, for sure, you'd be like, what movie? The movie with the quacking. Oh yeah, I remember that. The quacking and all the sexual violence. But, yeah, I don't know if it adds any creepiness to it, but it adds some, I guess, some memorability to it, and then like I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, so I'll just stop talking.
No, it's funny you pointed it out because I was gonna bring that up, Dylan. But like the quacking. I thought to myself initially, I was kind of like, what the fuck? Like, it threw me off, like not in a bad way, but I was like, that's kind of fucked up, like, But then I was thinking about, I was like, this could easily be something that's corny, but I don't think they did it a certain way and added to, like, you could tell it was like there's a psychology aspect to it, which was
Right.
cool.
That's kind of
Yeah,
what I was thinking. It adds a little depth to the killer,
Yeah.
like to his
Right. It's not
insanity.
for just no stupid
that you don't know until the info dump in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is just
All
a
she
classic Italian thing, or just a classic '80s horror thing. They started pulling that in America with like Friday the 13th Part 5 in the beginning, when they just like lay it all out at the end about Roy.
Yeah.
No, just give him the exposition at the end.
Right.
Now I think there's part of the subversive nature of this film.
Yeah.
I think that's intentional, like using basically Donald Duck, using like a Disney voice in this movie for this killer.
Right.
I think is part of the subversive. I think it's intentional that he's doing there.
They're like,
Or-
is that quack copywritten? It's like, no, I think we can do it.
What if Lucio Fulci is terrified of Donald Duck? Like,
Yeah, he's symbolism.
You never
Stranger
know.
things have happened.
Right.
So let's go around. Vern, overall, what are your thoughts? First time watching this as well.
Yeah.
What did you think about practical effects, music, cinematography?
I dug it. I thought it was it's like back to the quacking thing. That's the thing that initially, obviously, like anybody that sees this for the first time, just like what Steph said, if your reaction isn't what the fuck, then that's odd. You must be a duck yourself.
That's what the duck, my friend.
Yeah,
Duck. But but that's also like when I got most engaged with the movie, because Steph, I'm like you. The first 15 minutes of some of these 80s, I gotta like, how am I gonna feel about this? And a lot of that is my present mood. But when the killer calls the detective while he's with his hooker, I was in right there. Like, I just like serial killers that taunt the detectives is just like a fun thing. And I wonder if this was kind of inspired by Son of Sam to a degree, because that was in New York a handful of years ago. He was taunting the cops with letters and stuff like that. He was shooting them, though. He wasn't slashing people. But like most all,
like him.
Yeah, a little bit. All Lucio Fulci films that I've seen so far, I would say out of all the Italian horror that I've watched in this past year, which is a good amount, he's the best at the gore. Like, at least I enjoy his gore the most, like, by far. He's always super solid in his cinematography and his shots. The characters are pretty, usually they're not that good. I think in this one, this might be the best characters that I've noticed in a Lucio Fulci film from the handful that I've seen. Like they're actually just a handful of like pretty interesting characters.
I can dig that.
But overall, another one, just like all the Giallos, never at the end I'm like, oh, hell yeah, dude, they got me. I almost never give a shit when they reveal who the killer is. And I have to be like, who was that again? Like, they don't do a good job of like making them memorable.
Right.
I don't know, to a degree where it's ever.
They almost
cool.
want you to forget them, so it's impossible to be like, who did it? Like, oh, he did it. Who is he again?
Like last week, Dean, when the first time I watched Pieces, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Then I watched it again. I'm like, oh yeah, he's all over this movie. He's just not memorable at all.
Yeah.
But overall, I definitely dug it. It's a ton of fun. It's disgusting. That nipple scene, my God. So it's great, man.
The eye scene, bro.
Yeah.
This is your first Fulci eye scene, isn't it, Steph?
Yes, yeah.
Because this is your first Italian horror film.
Yeah. Yep. First
Bro,
Italian.
what a way to start.
Wow.
None of them are quite this.
impressed.
None of them are quite this extreme.
Okay.
Right.
They reach certain levels, but this one is. But Fulci has an eye thing,
especially with the sexualness. Like they don't. None of them that I've seen are this like, oh my God, like sleazy, like Robbie said. That's a great word for it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them could be described as sleazy depending on your sensibilities. But even I am like, this is the sleazy as fuck movie, man. But yeah, there's some really good eye stuff to come in your Fulci viewing. Trust me.
I'm excited. Even the well, I guess it's the last kill shot of, wow, you see the dowel with the bullet go through the cheek.
Yeah.
Like, that was pretty impressive. I was like, okay,
They got him.
Yeah.
No doubt about that, man.
He's not going to be in the sequel. But yeah, well, I guess I'll go. I was really impressed with it. It reminded me of like Pieces. I was telling you guys in the back chat. Pieces and Black Dynamite. It had like, not really Black Dynamite, but it had like the 70s funk, like especially the horror. I mean the music, not the horror. But I thought it reminded me of Pieces, just done better in like every aspect. Like the characters were actually characters. That the detective wasn't a fucking idiot, you know. The kills were, you know, in Pieces there were cool kills, but some of them looked a little cheap in certain ways. This one, like the cuts, like you know, even like, there was a chick he was chasing earlier. I think it was like his second kill, but like he cut her leg first, and it's just like they, you know, the way they showed him slice her leg and just cutting in the skin was really detailed.
The car shot was the second kill.
Yeah.
I think the leg one is the one that shows up, but she survives.
Sure.
Yes.
Is that the one that turns out to be a dream?
Yeah.
Well, the first part of that is not a dream, but the second part is. Yeah.
Okay, I got confused by that.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
Yeah.
It's once she's in the theater. That's the dream sequence.
Right. Okay.
Oh, because it's the Freddy Krueger hands.
And they also it's such a weird, interesting thing structurally about the film. That's the moment where they actually tell you who the killer is, because she goes, "You were the one," and it turns out,
he just smiles. He's like, "Oh, it was, huh?"
Yeah.
But the shots, the music, I was really impressed. So, station to that.
Oh yeah.
I think if you liked New York Ripper, I think we got an Italian horror fan here with us, y'all. I'm very excited. We're just so happy to see you grow up, Steph. And I'm just
baby
kidding.
steps, you know. It's baby steps, but I'll get there.
Hey, we'll get you there, brother. We'll get you there. So Steph, what were your overall thoughts on this movie? You know, what did you think?
Again,
I really enjoyed it. I thought the shots were done really well. The music was on point. Like I said, the details in the cuts. Pretty much just reiterating what I just said the last 5 minutes. But no, it was really a really dope movie. I don't know. I'm curious to see what you guys think was better, this or Pieces. Like, because I know you guys did enjoy Pieces, but I thought this was.
It's funny because I was just thinking a lot about that myself. I don't know if you want to get into it. Yeah, but let's let Robbie do his thing, and then. But it's a good point because this is better. I would say.
I'll wait for Dylan to officially call on me.
Go ahead.
Okay. No, I mean, I like the film. I love it. I watched this film for the first time. It was like the early 2000s was when I was getting into Italian horror, right? Because I had watched Suspiria because I had heard so many things about it. It was always talked about in things like Fangoria and stuff like that. So I finally watched that. It blew me the fuck away. I dive into Argento, and immediately that leads me into Fulci, right? I'm watching Zombie. I'm watching The Beyond, was one of the first of the Gates of Hell trilogy that I watched. And I watched this one, and my girlfriend at the time, I remember during this one, she looks at me, and we had probably just watched like Reanimator, like right before that a little bit, like maybe a couple days. She looks at me, she's like, "You're into some fucking weird movies, bro." Like seriously. Obviously that relationship did not last. But I love it. I like bold, in your face things when when I feel like at least they're trying to do something. We just recorded the Mel Brooks podcast. We were talking about his comedy. Could you do it today? You know, it's so crazy. And I'm like, but here's the thing is like, one of the things Mel Brooks says is you don't bring down Hitler by getting on a soapbox and telling everybody Hitler's bad. You bring him down by making people laugh at him. Right.
Yes.
And not that this movie's trying to make us laugh at things, but it is understanding of the human condition while it's doing what it's doing. And what it's trying to do is shock the shit out of the audience and dupe and F teen girls with us. That's interesting. Dupe. That's no, yeah, I'm down with, that's too much duping. But no, I like the film. I like it a lot. Now, it's not my favorite Fulci film. It is uncomfortable at times, but I like movies that are like that. One of my favorite Wes Craven films is Last House on the Left. I like movies that are uncomfortable to watch because sometimes we do watch something like Pieces where the murder and the mayhem and the sexual connotation to everything is humorous.
Right.
This isn't what's going on here. This is like, I mean, it's funny just how cheesy some of the scenes are, but like, it's not something that you want to laugh at, right? And so I really think it operates on a different level. But I love Fulci. I love what he does. This is a return to doing Giallo, but it's really turned up. So overall, I really like it, and my appreciation for it. But I understand why a lot of people don't like it. They think it goes too far, and I think that it goes just as far as it needs to because Fulci's making a statement in this film. And I always talk about this when we talk about Fulci films, and we get to the eye bit. Like, what is up with the eyes? And part of the thing to me is you have decided to watch a movie called The New York Ripper. You've seen the fucking movie poster. You're looking for tits and gore. All right. You dared me. I dare you to fucking watch this shit. When you do, think about you, because we are voyeuristically a part of this, like some of these characters in this film. I love it. I think it's really, really solid, man. The music could be a little bit better. I mean, I like the music, but it's just the music's good, but like if you watch the other Fulci films, you're getting like boom, 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 boom. You're getting like what my favorite type of horror movie music is. And you don't get it here, but it's an interesting approach to the music, and I'm sure we'll get into that. But I love the film. I would say I love the film. I really love it.
I look forward to his other scores then. If this was like kind of is serviceable is the word.
I'll be honest, I didn't even notice it too much, man. That was part of the reason why I wanted to try and squeeze in another viewing. It's like, dude, it didn't really stand out to me much on the first viewing, and you guys know I didn't really get a chance to watch it twice. To the Pieces point, what I was gonna say, like, or what I was thinking, because I could see myself scoring them similarly, but it's for such different reasons.
Yeah.
Like what I liked about Pieces was how bad it was in a lot of ways with the good kills. This is different. This is much better. Like I said, same thing I said about Fulci's other films. This has better characters and a bit of a better story for sure. So
I love how friendly the PCP army is. Look how Fable's like saying what's up to the sex bots. I mean, that's great.
Station sex bots.
What about you, Dylan? What's your how many times have you seen this film?
I've seen it probably like 5 times. I haven't seen it that much. It was one of the I hadn't seen a lot of Fulci. I want to say, honestly, man, maybe the Zombie or no, wait, Demons 1 and 2. Those are Fulci.
No, that's
right?
Lamberto Bava.
That's Bava. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Look at me
I
now.
was gonna say those are some of the first.
Yeah, me too. I'm like,
Was that your first Italian? Was when you watched Demons with us for Horror Fest last year? I'm talking about Verno.
I'd seen that.
No, he said, yeah, he hit me up one day, like days notice, like, hey, you want to spend all day watching these 2 crazy movies? I'm like, sure.
I was like, bro, it's just gonna be me and one other person, man. I need somebody to watch Demons 1 and 2.
If it wasn't that, it was when I watched Zombie to do a show with Jelani. It was one of those. But I will say, I think back to Demons, I think I gave those like a 3.5 and a 3, 1 and 2. And I remember you saying after my rating, like, if you watch these again, you'll rate them higher. And I know I would now. Like, I'm kind of dying to watch those movies again. They have a double where you like a 2 for 4K package that you can get.
Yeah, that's a good set to have. That's brand new.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
where would you put this?
I'm so proud of you, Verno. I'm so proud of you.
I know. I'm proud of both these guys, man. Sticking it out there.
I'm proud of all of us and everybody in the chat. I'm just so proud of maybe not the world, but this little DHS community is what I'm going to say.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so what the this is definitely one of my first Fulci films, no doubt. So this one definitely sets a bar, you know what I mean? Right. So kind of when I heard so much about like the Beyond and shit, and I was like, you know, because New York Ripper might even go a little harder at times. They're pretty damn close, but they're different in a way. You know, like you got what is it? What the fuck? In the Beyond, what is it that happens? Isn't that the one in the beginning? What is that? What happens in that black and white Robbie in the Beyond? I'm trying to think of what happens. That kill that happens right in the beginning.
Oh my god. Why you gotta put
It's
me on
like-
the spot like this?
It's like
man?
on the tip of my tongue. That's what I thought. Cause well, you love the movie.
I know.
Is it whatever? But you know what I'm talking about. There's just fucking Fulci, man. Like when it comes to the kills, he does not mess around. Like he makes it where you like want to look away so bad, but you can't look away. You know what I mean? Because it's just so visceral, brutal.
You're talking about the dude in the
Yeah.
hotel. You're talking about the dude in the hotel, right? That like they grab and they like bury him in the fucking wall and shit. Is that what you're talking about?
Yep. That shit always stuck
Like-
with me, bro.
The eye scene in particular, like I was like, oh shit, that's fucked up. But I was like, are they gonna go for it? Like, are they gonna reach the actual eye? And like, oh shit, they're going for it. You know, so
Yeah.
I'll say this:
They always do too in it with Italian.
the eye scene, and like if you comparing Zombie or Zombie 2, whatever you want to call it, to this one, it's like that's way better. Just wait till you see that one because it's good at this. I was more the nipple affected me more than the eye in this one because the face looked more fake than it did in Zombie. In Zombie, there's like sweat dripping off it. It looks
Right.
real. That nipple, for people that haven't seen it, you see this like profile shot of a breast, nipple on top, and then a razor ran across it, slices right down the middle of the nipple.
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
like, oh my god, I'm like trying. All nipples must be protected. Like
But
it's,
yeah.
it's,
They've been hurting for the last week,
Right.
man. I'm just gonna say.
it's effective.
smash
Is that
fry.
true? Uncut DVD of New York Ripper was finally released in 2020. Why would they do a DVD?
They
What
still make
company?
DVDs.
Oh, I know they do, but I'm saying like if there's a DVD, is there a Blu-ray?
I don't remember. I mean, I don't remember if
I don't
what
think
I
there's a uncut version on our Blue Underground. He's saying 2020 it was released.
Oh no, this is. But I didn't notice that there was any difference from when I first saw it. You know, when I first saw it, it was pretty raw. So I don't know.
Yeah. I was gonna say, but yeah, man, this movie, it's definitely memorable. It has a lot going for it. With the kills, with the with the iconic quack. It really goes over the top with some of the shit, and instead of like looking away or kind of panning off, they zoom close, like when the guy's like towing her and he's like, you like it, baby, you like it. Like
they want
they
you to
don't like
see
zoom
that.
off, they zoom close into the face. Like
That
that's
actress was down. She was like,
Yeah.
"What do you want me to do? I'll do whatever." Fucking insane. Again, for like
in the movies.
the thing we keep referring to, because I bet most people that are tuning in probably haven't seen this movie. I hadn't even heard of it. It's this woman who's like promiscuous, going around, and this guy like tows her. Like they're at like what a
Like a
pool hall
diner.
is it? They're under a table, and he reaches up, and he just like toes this girl. You see the underwear get spread and everything. Like it's insane. It's insane
Yeah.
and
Dress to
uncomfortable.
Kill is another good one where the woman kind of is going around sleeping with dudes and shit, and then ends up.
That's De Palma, right?
That's De Palma, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't
With
seen
Michael
that.
Caine.
It's on HBO. That's on my list.
Yeah,
It's way up there.
Mine too. Yeah, I've been meaning to rewatch that. I love it. It's a great film. Definitely It's definitely like De Palma taking a shot at Giallo, I'd say, man.
Dress
Straight
to
up.
Kill stuff. Dress to Kill.
But yeah, man, I have a lot of fun with the movie. It's not one that I'm watching all the time. It gets put in the rotation every few years, honestly. You know what I mean? If I'm going down like an Italian or a Fulci, run, this is definitely gonna get thrown in there. Like if it's probably definitely in my top 3 favorite Fulci films. So like I said, House by the Cemetery is one of my favorites. I'd have to relook at all his films, but yeah, it's up there. I know like House by the Cemetery, Zombie, maybe this would be the third one. I'd have to look at all the stuff he's done. It could be like fourth or fifth on it. It could be top 5, but it's still a good one. It's definitely a good one. I feel like gets a lot more talked about nowadays, but it's a sleeper. You know what I mean? It's a sleeper for real.
And it was banned in the UK for a long time. I don't think it was finally ever released in the UK till 2002. And one of the interesting things when we talk about the video nasties and all that stuff, and Pieces was a video nasty, what we're usually talking about is things that were banned by the British Board of Cinema or whatever the fuck they're called or something like that. But like, not only was it not able to be sold or seen, like it was like illegal as a British citizen to own or watch this film. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's so weird to think. I mean, they didn't go and like bust down people's fucking walls and shit, but that's, we're talking about, all that shit. So the Thatcher eras and that kind of stuff. And we kind of dealt with that on a smaller scale in America with the Nancy Reagan shit, and censorship and whatnot. So
I'm all about freedoms and everything, but I could almost understand banning this movie. Yeah. It's like, it's so obscene. For sure.
There's a movie that I got that's even worse than that, bro. It's a trauma. Well, it's a trauma film now, but it's called Blood Sucking Freaks, I think. Yeah.
I think it says something about like our culture, though, that for me at least, as a young man raised in the Midwest, it's the sexual stuff that like disturbs me more than the gore. Like, stab someone's eye out, cut their head off, their brains all over. That doesn't bother me, but mix a vagina in with that, and it's like it's shocking. It really is. Or a nipple, either one.
Still not available, fully uncut in England.
Damn.
Wow.
Shameless UK releases cut. I wonder in the video that was put in the video nasty as honor. I agree.
I mean, we're talking about Evil Dead, Zombie 2, which is Zombie 2 in Italy, Zombie here in England. I think it's Zombie Flesh Eaters, right? But it is an honor, I think, especially now being horror files like we are. It's an honor to know that a video was labeled a video nasty, like a movie, and it's like, well, I fucking want to watch that one. Let's watch Cannibal Holocaust. Fuck it, let's do it.
Blood Sucking Freaks is definitely one that was in there. And my man Kevin, he knows that.
I've never seen that one, so that's.
You never seen that? Let me see. I got it over here. It's a lot of people say it's like one of the gnarliest films ever made. Actually, I think Scarpad's the one who got me hip to this one. This shit is fucked up. It was originally called Blood Sucking Freaks, aka Sardu, Master of the Screaming Virgins. That's what it was normally called.
Jesus Christ.
That sounds awesome.
Screaming Virgins. Oh, that's...
And it's got like this weird, like this is Sardu right here. And he's like this weird, like skinny white man. Kind of reminds me of like Alan from 2.5 Men, got that like, kind of guy in touch with his feminine side, and then you got like a midget or a dwarf, whatever you call him nowadays, and
little person,
little person. But dude, they're just like straight torturing people in this movie, and they basically like it's like live, like this Sardu like puts on these live shows of like torturing people, like in this like little hidden place, and it feels like filmed on camera. You know what I mean?
It's like some Red Room shit, man. That's awesome.
It feels like something you would fucking find in like a random ass abandoned house, and you'd be like, "Holy shit, is this fucking real?" You know what I mean? But Trauma put it out, dude. I think I got this for like $12 off. This was one I got off of. What was that site? What's that? The discounted Blu-ray. Hamilton, yeah, dude. Really? I had to, because this is one I want to get this in like Cannibal Holocaust, because certain ones you feel like at any point like they could just be taken away. They're so bad. You know what I mean?
I would like to get a hold of the, what is it, like cruelty-free version of Hannibal or Cannibal Holocaust, because I just have no interest in watching the animal killings.
That's why it's hard for me.
You were live animal killings?
Yeah, like birds, right?
It's hard for me to like put money into it just because of the animal killings. But I like the movie. It's just those animal killings that really do it for me.
Right. Dude, there was something I was going to bring up because I'm looking into it right now. I don't know if in the 80s the law was different. I have a feeling it's not, but I'm pretty fucking sure it's illegal. There are no live sex shows in America, but it's a European thing. So I wonder if that's something that Fulci just like, being an Italian dude, he's like, yeah, live sex show. I wonder if they weren't aware or if it was legal at the time, but what an awkward thing. Like,
I just ordered Blood Sucking Freaks for real.
Oh,
it was like $15 on Amazon. I just ordered it.
I thought you were gonna say I just ordered tickets to a live sex show. Trust me.
Dude, I mean,
it happened.
I don't know if live sex shows were ever a thing. Like in New York, like it has that reputation and that era of being incredibly seedy and sleazy, right? And that is really captured in this fucking movie. Like they have Disneyfied New York, right?
No way.
Like, so I wish that, if Fable was a little bit older, maybe he could speak more to it. But like he was probably like a teenager while like they were doing that cleaning up, right? So he probably remembers the city being more like that. But I'd be interested to hear like a New Yorker's perspective on that, because what I understand is like it was like Times Square was like now it's all these lights and people go there and like take pictures and shit. Like, bro, you didn't want to go there. Right. You didn't want to go into the city. You didn't want to go to these places because it was just filled with this kind of like live sex peep shows and shit like that. I don't know if people actually can fuck on. I mean, they probably can't in Alabama. We can't even film pornography in Alabama.
Well, that's what I'm looking at right now. Someone making the argument: if it's legal to make porn in the States, why is it illegal to do stage sex shows? Which, like you see in the film, I don't think
it's probably an insurance thing, to be honest with you.
Right. I can see it.
They're gonna have to like be FDA regulated about the cleanliness of the fucking
right.
Like,
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Well, you gotta change the sheets between every fucking set, and
I wouldn't even be interested in it. Like it's just I don't know, watching porn. I was thinking about that too, because my fiance, I was telling her about Pee Wee while we were watching that scene. It was like, Pee Wee Herman got busted jerking off at a porn movie theater. How odd would it be just to go into public and sit at a theater and watch porno with strangers? Like,
well, you remember that's one of the things that they mentioned in the movie X,
right?
Is that the guys like perverts can now do it in the privacy of their own home, right? Yeah. And so, can you imagine what I mean? And there are people that enjoy like the work of, say, like sex workers or pornography and things like that, right? Maybe I'm one of those people, but there are people that are like way into that world. And I think those are the people that are going to want to go into the city to see the sex shows and the peep shows. And it's weird, man.
What he says is it's not just for the freaky perverts anymore. Cause I bet that is what you would get. You're right. The majority of people that are willing to go into were getting the freaks in there.
Exactly. I just imagine it being very weird and uncomfortable to go into a theater where that like 95% of the people there are beating off.
Right.
I mean, like who works there, cleans that shit up? Like, oh my goodness, man. That's just wild. Yeah, Taxi Driver. Think of Taxi Driver, the way New York's portrayed in that movie, and I don't know, man. Weird because we grew up in an era where it was already on video and then DVD, and now it's fucking anywhere. You can get porn on your fucking phone, like just a search, and you're good. So it's weird the world that we live in now. It's weird that we live in a world where people still pay for pornography,
right?
When so much of it is available for free, basically. It's weird. There's a lot of it out there now. That's one thing that's really ramped up in our society over the last 40 years, man.
Mm-hmm. Porn and porn bots.
Gary said that the Grindhouse release has the animal cruelty free version of Cannibal Holocaust.
Right. Okay, cool. Because I've heard that there is one, but it's not
It just said I can't see it anywhere where it says it on the back, like where the special feature. It just says 3-disc deluxe edition, 2 Blu-rays plus 1 CD. So I don't. I guess if it doesn't have it, you could always just send it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's wild shit.
Burning is a great one, definitely. Yeah, man, I'm excited to see what you think of fucking Blood-Sucking Freaks, Robbie. That's one we'll definitely have to do.
It's on the fucking way, bro.
We'll have to do like a nasty video review.
Let's do it, man. I'm down. Oh, The Burning's one of my favorites. I love that one.
Oh, hell yeah. Didn't we do that one
We did, because I say that's my favorite camp slasher film.
Yeah.
Fuck Friday
It's
13th,
fine.
Sleepaway Camp. It's The Burning.
Really?
Oh, The
It's
Burning. Have you never seen that one?
No.
The
never heard
Burning
of it.
is because it's like Wet Hot American Summer meets like Friday 13th or something. Like the characters are funny, likable, relatable, and well-rounded and
What
well
was it?
performed. Jason
who was it?
Alexander's in it
Jason
from
Alexander
Seinfeld.
Really?
from
Yeah.
Seinfeld. Yeah, early, and he's fucking hilarious, man.
That's great.
Yeah.
So we talked about everything.
We could do characters if you're into it. There's only 2 noteworthy ones, probably. Maybe 3, maybe 4.
Well, go ahead, Vern. You started off then.
I gotta go with her name in the film, I believe, is Jane Forrest or something. The freaky horny chick. Like, she's just
Right there.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier.
Carmen Sandiego mixed with Dick Tracy.
You got to wonder what that casting was like. Like, what did she have to do to get that job? She looked like she was up for anything, as I mentioned earlier. But she's committed to the bit in a way like not many actresses would be comfortable with. And she's hot. She's sexy for being older. And she puts on a pretty good performance, too. But just I don't even remember what happens to her in the end, like the direction that her character goes in.
She gets killed because she sleeps with the dude.
Is she the one that gets the eye, or is that the other blonde?
No, she just gets stabbed like brutally. But like she's in bed. She's handcuffed to the bed. She's with the dude with the 3-fingered guy, right? And on the radio, the dude shows up on the radio. He's like, "Come on, man, the guy missing 2 fingers. Why you gotta be killing all these women?" She looks over. She's like, "Oh my god, he's missing 2 fingers." She's like, "I gotta get the fuck out of here." So as she's getting away, she runs into the killer.
Right, because he calls her.
Yeah, and it's like this movie is heavily like Fulci says Hitchcock's one of his favorite directors. This is his Hitchcock movie. And it's weird to think that, but at the same time, think about it. Jane is built up as the main character, just like Marion is in Psycho, and then killed.
Right.
And you're like,
what?
Because the main character is not the fucking inept fucking detective. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just like, whoa. So
but it kind of is. But I get you're right.
But not really, right?
Yeah.
Because he's I don't know. I mean, he's definitely a character. I don't know if he's the main. I think they're doing this weird trick in this movie where you never know who the fuck you're supposed to follow. The most relevant characters get introduced halfway through the fucking film.
Right. I know that seems to be the trend in a lot of foreign films. Is it's not like necessary to have a very clear main perspective character, or to have a lot of character development or story.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that
stuff.
I think it's cool that it doesn't go into the route of the police procedural, which you see in a lot of these films. Like even things like Bird with Crystal Plumage or Deep Red, even though maybe the character perspective Tenebrae is outside of that police story, they are still the ones putting together the mystery. That's not what's going on here, really. You know, I don't know. It's weird.
You get some of it, and I think he's good. The lieutenant or detective guy, but yeah. I'll just go with her. She was super memorable. When I think of this movie, I will think of that chick and that one Latino gentleman and his friend.
The diner scene. I'm gonna go with the radio host.
There you go.
Just smooth, man. Very smooth. And I dug it.
It's a random bit too, and it's like this guy is so excited to be the dude on the radio at 4:30 in the morning in New York.
I would love that.
Such a weird. Yeah, that'd probably be a really cool gig. He's like, nobody's listening to me. I can say whatever the fuck I want.
Those jobs don't even exist anymore. Barely. I looked into it because I would love to be doing that, man.
Yeah, because now it's just an automated playlist or something they will go through.
Terrible, man. That's a dream job right there.
I always wanted to be in radio. Radio's dead. Thank God for YouTube. I feel like we're kind of that's what we're doing here. Like this is what I would want a radio show to be on a Saturday night. You know what I'm saying? I would want to listen to a bunch of dudes talking about New York Ripper and Pieces and shit like that. So it's a weird bit too. It comes out of nowhere. I think they're like, man, bro, if we're gonna release this in America, we need one black person in this movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Sadly, yeah.
It's in New York. Come on.
But he is that dude is committed to that role, man. hey guy, come on, I'm missing your two fingers. Why you gotta be? And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But we still have live radio DJs that do like the morning shows, obviously. Which I cannot stand radio broadcasting nowadays. But
that's a different thing because you gotta be excited in the morning.
Exactly. It's kind of like what my whole career has been built on making fun of in a way, like the whole rocking with Rockin' Robbie, you know, like all that shit. But it's an interesting bit in that movie. I wish you're right. I wish that job still existed.
Hell yeah.
I would do it in a heartbeat, man.
Low pay. I don't even care.
If anybody knows, I can just talk for hours. Just to nobody. So
I don't want the talking that much, but just picking out a bunch of dope music to play all night. Give me like some classic rock station that lets me play some Dead with it. Hell yeah.
We get a really good show here locally on our NPR station, 89.3. It's this local dude named Brad who puts together this show called The Invisible City, and he's been doing it for fucking like 20 plus years. At this point, it's every Friday night. And it's great because it's always like indie music or really great picks from like bands and songs, you know, but maybe different songs than you would think of and local shit. It's such cool stuff, man. Public radio still does some of that cool stuff, but
hell yeah,
you gotta try to listen to it. For my favorite character, I would go with Jane. Outside of Jane, I don't know, man. I'll just go with the professor dude or whatever, the guy that's like studying fucking
Blue Boy
entropy or some shit, and they go to him to like put together this psychological profile, right? Yeah, this psychology, I don't, whatever he is, right? But like his psychological profile is so bullshit. He's just like, oh yeah, he wants to provoke you, and he thinks he's smart, and he wants to be seen. No shit, dude. But what a weird bit. And I watched one video. I think it was the Horror Geek. Maybe it was someone else. But they were like, the bit where they reveal that he's like buying like homosexual sex mags, right? Like they're like, this is meant at the time to be a red herring because the idea that, oh, he's a quote unquote sexual deviant, right? So maybe he's the killer. But taking it outside of that, and obviously that's probably what they were doing. You know, we're talking about Italian directors that's in his like fucking 50s at this point, you know, and Fulci's in the movie. He's the police chief. He's in almost all of his movies. Right. He's a big Hitchcock fan, even to the point where he wants to do like cameos and shit. But he's the police chief. But I'll go with him just because he's kind of like swarmy and sleazy himself, just on that intellectual level. So it's like, to me, juxtapositioning the idea of this seedy underbelly of this live sex shows and people that are meeting up and like Jane and the guy missing two fingers that are out there. They're part of this world where they're just like always about like sex and they're like fiends and all that shit. But what is the difference between them and him? And I that's how I like to view the bit, where we're seeing that he's buying his own like lewd entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And what is the difference, right? At least they're more honest and open about who the fuck they are. You know what I'm saying? You're hiding behind a facade in a way. So I don't know. I'll just go with him because it's Jane. It's Jane.
Right.
It's definitely Jane.
I'm surprised no one mentioned the cop. Well, I guess Dylan, you didn't go yet, but I thought he was really good. I thought he was one of the. I'll go as far the Lieutenant Fred Williams.
Well, it's a cool bit too because he has the relationship with the sex worker, with the prostitute, and he has to go through this struggle. It's probably the best struggle someone has to go through mentally in the moment where he's like, I know where this killing is happening right now, but he doesn't say it immediately because he doesn't want to admit that he's having a relationship with her. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it puts him in a weird, interesting predicament. But for the most part, I think he's all right. He's all right, but it's not his movie. It's not his movie.
One of the best lines in the movie is like, "Can you make me a cup of coffee?" She says, "Honey, I'm a prostitute, not your wife. If you want coffee, you got to make it yourself." Damn, what if I tip you?
He's all like, "Have you been telling people I'm here?" Oh, don't be a dumb bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, whoa, calm down, man. You're probably getting the discount being a police officer. Like, come on, man. Shit.
How about the first scene, by the way, the credit scene? This just popped in my head. It has to do with the lieutenant when he's there and they pull out that hand and it just freezes on this like zombie looking hand for a good like 5 minutes as the credits roll. Like it's fucking.
That's another one, man. Is that opening guy might be my favorite character, the guy with his dog, because he's the most wholesome. Just he's like, oh, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you, girl. You're so good. Like he's just so in like. That's a relationship I know. You and a man and his pet, and being proud of your animal and just loving your animal. And then he's just like, what the fuck you got there? It's a goddamn hand, man.
You excited to go outside? I know you're. You've been cooped up all day.
Yeah, he's got a great line too. I think he was like, well, you know, standing behind a counter for 8 hours ain't no picnic either.
So you want to go into the music, Robbie, or you want to start off with what you thought about the music?
Yeah, but is your favorite character Jane? You don't have anything else you want to spotlight?
Oh yeah, no, I said Jane. I thought you guys just can kind of.
Let's say you had to stretch and pick something that hasn't been talked about. What would you go with? Because I think the guy missing 2 fingers has got a good, compelling story. Because he's like, why the fuck is everybody after me? Right, but the whole idea is that he's like working for the killer, like setting victims up for him and shit.
That storyline's pretty loose. I didn't fully understand.
Right, yeah. I guess if I was gonna go Jane, it would either be, you know, maybe the little girl at the end, or the police lieutenant. Daddy, please, don't leave me, please answer.
Answer, Daddy.
That's a weird bit too, where they make you think that one of them is, because they make you think it's the chick all the way to the very, very tail end.
Yeah.
You know, and then they're like, "Oh no, his daughter called him." It's like, "But I didn't hear the phone ring. Did she call?" And you're right. You're like, "You're right. Did she call him upstairs from downstairs?" That doesn't make sense. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, maybe the chick is the fucking.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. Music wise, I think it's all right. So it's the music is Francesco Damasi, and his other work. Let me look at it, because I didn't look at it beforehand. Because I think the music's okay, but it doesn't.
Okay. I'm listening to it right now.
It's not providing an atmosphere.
No.
That you usually expect out of Fulci films, right?
It's like that outside, like New York '80s music. You know what I mean?
He did the score in 1978 of The Inglourious Bastards. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Thunder Warrior, Escape from the Bronx, Lone Wolf McQuade.
So this has more of an American feel than most Italian films.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to capture
that New York
the essence of New York at the time, and maybe they do that, but it doesn't provide an atmosphere that I really like in horror films. But at the same time, this is a Giallo film.
Yeah.
Right? But it is way more gory than your typical Giallo film. So I get it for what it is, but I would have preferred something a little bit more atmospheric and menacing and driving, you know, because we were talking about the heartbeat. We're talking about the heartbeat theme last week in Pieces, and it's monotonous the way they use it. But like when you're watching, say, Zombie or something like The Beyond, the score in that, the way that it's kind of driving in the slow, like, that's something I really like. So I think the score is okay. I think it's you know, I'm the music guy allegedly, but it just doesn't quite. I think it works for the film, but not in a way that I would like. I think the movie would actually have a different level if it was a little bit more atmospheric. What did y'all think?
Are his other films? Do other films take place in America? Or are they
Zombies takes place a little bit in America.
And he goes off to an island, comes back. It's mostly on a boat and on this weird voodoo island. But yeah, there's some America in that one.
See, I feel like if that,
I'm pretty sure like the Gates of Hell stuff takes place in America, but I could be wrong.
The one that I'm struggling to think of the name of the one that I saw with the drill through the eye. That's in America for sure.
Yeah.
To your point about that heartbeat thing, it's funny because I just listened to exactly what you said and what we were talking about last week. I just watched another movie and I noticed the, you know, dum 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 dum, but it was more intricate. It did that, and then there was other stuff going on in the background, and that's what Pieces lacked. It was kind of, it was almost like on a loop.
Because it's just, and like we were saying, that was just cut together. It was all stock music, and Fabio Frizzi is one of the credited artists for the pieces in that score. And Fabio is the one who did, I think, all of the Gates of Hell trilogy. I know for sure he did Zombie too. So, like, yeah, that music is, I love his, like, Zombie is my favorite Fulci score. Like, I fucking love that. I learned that shit on the synthesizer a long time ago. The worm.
That's just the shit, man. You really do. You do need to get that one and stuff. I have zero more thoughts on it. I don't know if you do stuff, but like I said, I just can't remember the music enough. It's got like a funk.
It's got that nice theme though. I do like the like when you put on the Blu-ray, Dylan. I'm sure you remember like the music that's playing. That's like the main theme. I do like it now. I do like it.
It's kind of a porno film.
Yeah, it does.
That's why I feel like they're trying to, if he wanted to really make it feel like an authentic New York film. Did they shoot New York for the most part?
They filmed a lot in New York. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I feel like, he wanted to make it feel authentic because that's how that's the vibe I got from it. First watch and stuff, I felt like they wanted to try to emulate the feeling of really being in New York, especially because he's like kind of like a foreign director, or he is a foreign director. If that's like the goal, I feel like if that was the goal of point of the music and the route they went with it, I feel like they nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to look at other scores he's done in his other movies before I can really judge it, because you guys are kind of saying it was serviceable. I thought he did well, but
I think it was, from what I remember and what you guys have reminded me from talking about, it did a better job of giving you the feel of the setting and less like the vibe, the horror vibe that we kind of want.
Are you right?
Right.
So it's I found myself kind of like, when even during some of the chase scenes, they were funky. I was like bobbing my head to people getting chased to their death and shit. So it was effective, but it was cool. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Vern, what did you go yet?
Yeah, I didn't have a whole hell of a lot. Like I said, I just remember that it felt like porn music.
Yeah.
I'll definitely second that. I'll definitely second that. I think it's okay. Don't think it really. I mean, I guess it fits like the '80s New York vibe, in a way. But like Robbie said, man, if they would have really went for this and had some had some real music going, like a real score, like especially when you got the killer making his moves and shit, it could have really just added some
hell yeah,
a little bit more tenseness to it and just made it really amp it up a little bit and get that blood flowing, because I mean, dude, a good score, bro, get your fucking heart racing. You know what I'm saying? Like an incredible score with some good scary acting or practical effects, man, it can really,
dude, it's everything.
Exactly.
I saw one time, it was like a demonstration or an example, I suppose you'd say, where they showed like a video of like panning across like a scene like out in farmlands, and it was like this happy music playing, and then they took the happy music off and they put this like tense scary music, and it's completely different. Like, I mean, I'm telling you guys, but it's everything about the feel that you get from a film.
Yeah, I feel you, dude. So I guess we'll go on to we did music. Did we talked about the kills a little bit? Well, we did say our favorite kill, didn't we?
We've mentioned some of them. I think we've left a couple out here and there. I don't know. We've been through probably the best ones. Maybe we should start just saving those for this section.
We should always do a favorite kill section, especially with the slasher.
Didn't we do one? That's how we talked about it.
We talked about kills, but we didn't mention our favorites. My favorite's the Jane kill. I like the Jane kill a lot. I know that there's more graphic ones, but she's the character that I cared about the most when the attack happened.
Right. How did she get got again? What'd they do to her?
She gets stabbed and he like rips it all the way the fuck up.
Right.
And shit like that, man. It's pretty gnarly. So then you see her laid out there and he's like basically filleting her. And it's called Ripper for a reason.
Right.
It's supposed to be referencing like Jack the Ripper, and like I saw somebody was talking about the movie. They're like, yeah, it gets accused of, about a killer who hates women, And he's like, as opposed to killers who love women that kill them, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird because a lot of material had started coming out that Fulci himself, people kind of thought he was maybe misogynistic or hated women, right? And it came from the idea that he didn't treat certain women very well on set, but people that are historians of him and his life, they say that's how he just was if he didn't like you. So like there were plenty of women that he had a great career, like relationship with, including I can't remember her name, but she's in all 3 of the fucking Gates of Hell movies, right? And he wanted her to be in this movie, but she turned it down. And but so like it wasn't necessarily a woman thing. It was just whether he liked you or not. And apparently he treated men kind of the same way. Right. But all the kills are directed towards women because it is that Jack the Ripper idea that they're approaching. Even though the original name of the film was going to be The Beauty Killer. And you know, the whole point that we get at the end of the movie is that he's trying to kill these young women that are like beautiful and living it up because his daughter will not be able to. So, but I don't know.
I think, dude, to that point, like, because you hear that like horror in general is misogynistic, too much violence towards women. I think it's more effective when it's a woman. Like, I will be affected. It's men have a natural tendency to feel protective over women. So when we see a woman get killed, it's more effective to us. And then when a woman sees a woman gets killed, I have to imagine it's more effective to them. That's why, you know what I mean? They seem more vulnerable than men. So it's more horrific.
A really good like Eli Roth-esque interpretation of it. You're right. Like he's kind of got that idea. Like, well, the dudes are going to care more about a hot chick than they would somebody else, right? I think like in this one, they're obviously talking about a dude who has an issue with women, right? And I think you do see a lot of these films that get criticized for overt violence towards women, like sometimes they're forgetting some of the other shit that's in there, right? I mean, but it obviously is a bit, but I think it's also because women love fucking horror films, bruh. And who, for the most part, is the survivor of most horror films, especially slashers. There's a reason we have the term final girl. You know what I'm saying? And even in this one, and they always eventually display strength. They do a swerve in this one where they make us think it's Jane. Then it's the other woman who is not near as compelling. Right. Maybe because we like women that are into sex. So I don't know.
And foot stuff.
Right.
And the foot stuff I can do without. I'm not into foot stuff.
No kink shame here, guys. No kink shame.
I won't shame you, but I've never understood it.
Yeah.
Are we gonna go into what the movie's trying to say, or are we gonna go around and do you guys want to throw out your favorite kill?
Let's do kill because I mentioned Jane, so I'd like to hear what y'all think.
You got anything, Steph?
It's a tie between we already went over like the nipple whole eye scene or that just the gunshot through the doll's cheek at the end. I was like, oh shit, you know, that's pretty dope. But those were probably
I like that one.
I mean, there's some great kills throughout the movie because you know he ripped her open down the middle. Anytime I see that, it just with a razor blade too, it just you know, it fucks me up. So
he does. He's got a way about him. And the one thing you get in these Italian films is they linger on stuff longer than you do like Friday the 13th. They show you some gnarly stuff, but it doesn't linger on it the way that you do in the Italian ones. I already mentioned mine earlier. The nipple, it's by far because it's everything. First you see it's and another one where
that's what's his name's lady, right? That's the one that he's listening to.
Right
on the phone. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that gets the eye and the nipple. She gets her middle sections. I think that's kind of like most of them get their middle sections slit up.
I think that's that like Jack the Ripper thing, right? Because like Jack the Ripper was apparently like he would like basically do an autopsy and he was trying to like and
didn't they think he had to have medical training?
Exactly. And if you listen to like or if you watch From Hell or read the book, like the idea is that it is like one of the doctors of the area, like that he thought he was doing a service and exploring like things and
there's the street anyways.
There's one more that I could think. Dylan, what's your favorite?
I'm trying to think. It might be the gunshot to like the head at the end.
It was savage.
There's the bottle. We
feel like I'm
mentioned it.
missing
but
one.
The bottle to the crotch section
Oh,
of
yeah.
the one woman.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh,
like,
my-
oh my god.
Ugh, and the God, that gets to me, man.
Yeah,
That
I
is
think
a
I still
probably
might
very
go the
effective.
head, the gunshot to the head. I always love those gunshots to the head, like in scanners and stuff. You know,
Mhm.
and
I
that's a
rewound
good
that one a couple times and watched it.
Yeah, that's a cool one because a lot of times they just blow the head up. I like that I actually like kind of blast like
Section,
just a
yeah.
hole through the head. You know, like the
Yeah.
face is still intact. I like that.
It was gnarly.
But yeah, dude, the kills are gnarly in this, so it's definitely hard to choose.
One thing I think we can talk about is because Italian cinema is style over substance for the most part. I would love to get into just about the style of the film, the way it looks, because I think it's goddamn for such a sleazy movie. It is beautifully fucking shot.
It was like X, how he was trying to make a serious, porno film in that, the camera dude. That's
to the perverts, to the sex fiends, to independent cinema.
You could tell he took this seriously, though. In all aspects. Even
He's a pro.
The level of shots, the level of craft and technique is amazing. And you mentioned this earlier, like, bruh. And in the back chat, you mentioned this, but like, Steph, you're right. He could have totally been a porno director. You know what I'm saying? like almost as if that's what he was trying to do, because this movie gets into it, but it's incredibly well shot, incredibly well lit, well paced, right? Kind of throughout. It lingers long on scenes. It keeps you guessing about who is the main character, what is going on. It gives you this sense of kind of being in the situation, chaos. You can't quite piece together the structure as you're watching it, but as you've watched it many times, you see what they're doing. You see the influence from Hitchcock. You see the building of tension. There are moments, the Jane death, the scene with the sex worker who is, and the detectives on the phone. They think they're going to trace the fucking number, and of course he's playing them, right? But like, those are suspenseful, tension-building scenes, and Fulci does that really well. The eye scene in Zombie is the one that really stands out to me as being like, no, but you're just on the edge of the seat because you know what's about to happen. Like with the nipple, and Fulci, right? Verno, so you knew that he was going to do it,
right?
But it takes a minute for it to actually happen, and the same thing with the eye one, and you're just like, oh no, they are doing it. Just to pull you away. Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah. You mentioned the pacing, and I like sometimes with these films, with the Giallo that I've watched, they can get slow at times, and I think this one, it was entertaining throughout. Like it never got slow. It's only an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was one of the strong suits of it, is that it didn't get boring at all ever. It was a great pace to it.
Yeah. This, like I said, Pieces wasn't a bad movie, but this reminded me of Pieces, just like done right. Like, like we said with Pieces, they kind of just threw the score together, whatever they had. Like this came from somewhere. He was trying to say something with this movie, so everything was very meticulous, I guess, if you will.
I wonder how many movies the dude that made Pieces made before he made Pieces, because Fulci's made, like, I'm looking at just what he has on Tubi right now. He's got like 12 films just on Tubi, and most of them came out before this. He's a seasoned director. When this movie comes out, he's done a lot of work. So, and you can tell, like, what you're pointing out, like he's a pro. He's fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. He is like an Italian Hitchcock, but like way more sleazier. But he was talking about Hitchcock movies got violence and sex too. What he was allowed to get away with at the time for the censors. Imagine Hitchcock making films in Italy in 1982.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And so, like, to answer, I do think most of the shit was filmed probably in Italy, but they were on location in New York for a lot of those exterior shots. So they did the same thing with Zombie. And they did film some bits in New York. They didn't have a permit. They just literally got on that fucking bridge and just let's start filming with all these people dressed up as zombies. Let's see what happens. You got to watch it, bro. It's your next one, man. You just watch it. Just watch it. You should pick it for Fable man. That's what you should do. You should pick it for Fable. I want to see Herm talk about Zombie
People like,
2.
Steph,
that's a good one. Like
I
kind
don't-
of like what I was just talking about. Zombie 2 has slow starts. It takes a while to get going, but the moments, the scenes that you get sprinkled in throughout, and it builds to the end. By the end, you care. But it's got slow bits.
We didn't even tell you the number one selling point. You ever wanted to see an underwater sequence of a zombie fighting a shark? Because it happens in that fucking movie. It literally happens. It's a real shark and even a real zombie.
And a real zombie.
Say less. I'm there.
Y'all want to get into the meaning of the movie? Or
maybe, but I want to know what you think about the style of the film.
Did everyone else go?
Yeah.
Everyone else?
You've been paying attention to your own show, man.
Yes. I just wanted to make sure. I'm a little tired, so I zone out here and there. That's all.
I feel you.
At least you're honest about it. You're like, bro, I'm sorry, man. Sometimes I zone the fuck out, man.
Yeah.
I do too, man. Sometimes
I think y'all got me earlier when I was like, Steph, what are you thinking? He started laughing.
That might be my favorite DHS moment, to be honest with you, man, of all time. So there you go. It's like none of us wanted to say it, but we all just like we knew what was going on.
You were definitely a sweetheart about it.
It's happened more than once, and I love it every time.
It's part of the charm of this show, man. It's part of your charm, Dylan.
I'll just be like zoning out or something, or I'll walk and let the dog out, and I'll come back and I'll be like, "So what do you think?" And Steph has just been talking for like the last 10 minutes straight, and then I just piece into Vern saying something. I'm like, "All right, Steph, you're up." And he's like, "You're talking the last 10 minutes, dipshit." But yeah, I think styly, that's one of the greatest things about the film. I wish the music was, the score was better, because it really, really could add an extra level to this movie that just could make it it honestly could shoot it to like one of his best if the score was there. But I think styly, it's great, man. You know, like Vern said, fucking he is an OG director at this point, man, and he knows what he's doing, and he's probably, he was being artistic with this one in a sleazy way, but it works, no doubt, and it's one I definitely recommend. If you're trying to get into Italian horror films. I feel like this one's it's sleazy as fuck, but I feel like still, man, this was one of the first few ones that I really ever watched as well. So, and it worked for me, you know.
Hell yeah.
I got a random kind of question, Italian horror that fits the theme for Robbie or Dylan. Is there any of the Giallos that you've watched that you do consider like a really good mystery too?
For sure. I would say Bird with Crystal Plumage, Deep Red, and
so the Argento
Tenebrae,
stuff.
the Argento ones in particular. Now, there's a lot of other Gialli that I have not watched. Like there's obscure shit. Like I love that I'm the Italian horror expert, you know, here in our little corner of YouTube. But like it's really just Argento, Bava, and Fulci, and in particular Fulci and Argento that I know the most. So there's a lot more still to dive into, because it's a whole, just like with the slasher film in America, there's a whole lot of other ones. Yeah.
Think about all the guys that idolized the three kings, Bava, Fulci, and Argento, that were trying to come up, you know.
Yeah. And Don't Torture a Duckling, which is a Fulci film, is a really good mystery as well. And that's what Gialli is they are Italian mystery murder films. This one goes more into horror, right? So yeah,
it's got more of the gore of Fulci's zombie stuff.
Yeah, well, and it's right there in the line of what was going on in American cinema over the last 7 years at this point with the slasher film, from Last House on the Left through Halloween to Friday 13th, shit like that. Like it was this natural progression and an influence, and obviously those films are inspired by Gialli enough, but then you add in that reverberating influence back to Giallo films. So it's an interesting thing to see.
Right. Dude, not to derail us too much, but I've been thinking this, man. I always thought like, oh, Wes Craven, he invented this new kind of horror movie with the murder mystery with Scream. But really what he did, he took old Giallo films and then mixed that with the masked killers of the 80s and blended that together to make Scream, where they're murder mysteries with an iconic masked killer.
Have you seen the original Last House or Hills Have Eyes that he did?
Not forever, like when I was in high school.
Yeah, because that's like people that think of Wes Craven just from the Scream perspective or Nightmare on Elm Street perspective, that adds a whole new dimension of what this dude was doing.
Right.
You know?
I've seen the Hills Have Eyes, and I know you don't like it, but I've seen the remake like a bunch. Like I've seen it quite a bit, so I have an idea of the vibe. I assume they have
pretty close.
Right.
They're like shot for shot. It's just remade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's just there's this certain magic to me of the post-Halloween slasher film. We're talking about stuff from like 1980, 81, 82, before they really started kind of taming it down a little bit or getting a little bit more excessive. And I love the mid 80s. That's probably my favorite era. But there is something about these, and we've talked about it with films before. Pieces was one of those, but it obviously more ridiculous. But like Graduation Day is one of those kind of films. But there's a tone to it that I think really harkens back to films like Black Christmas, Last House on the Left. Before that, we can go back. There's a French film called Diabolique that is probably one of the first slasher films, if you really want to get technical with it. Psycho, the Hitchcock influence of tension, building that up, how Carpenter perfected that, and how Cunningham exploited it in say Friday 13th, and then you had a lot of ripoffs, and we were talking about shit like The Burning, and then the like I said, the reverb of the effect, where Italian Giallo films were influencing American slasher films, what would become the American slasher film, and then that in turn influenced Fulci in this film, which I think is really cool. It's kind of like how like a Japanese company sold, like G.I. Joe made the G.I. Joe figure or something, and they sold that rights to a Japanese company where they did a series of figures. Like Diaclone came out of that, and then they sold that back to Hasbro as like Micronauts and fucking Transformers and shit. Like, it's this cool, like, it's the circle of life. Anyway, I'm sorry. That was a ramble, wasn't it? I'm sorry.
It's what makes you great. It's what puts the rockin' in Rockin' Robbie.
Right, you know it, man. And I just want to go to all the dudes missing 2 fingers, man. Take it easy on them women out there, man. Why you got to be killing all the ladies?
You ever House on the Edge of the Park is a video nasty classic.
I've heard of that, but I've never seen it. Okay. I have heard of that.
So let's dive into it. What do we think this movie's trying to say, Robbie?
I want y'all to start, man. Come on, man.
Brian, let's hear it.
I honestly have no idea, dude. Like
I don't think I do either.
There's obviously some sexual stuff. We got some issues, but most of the times I tell you guys, I need to watch a movie twice to get a feel for that. I barely remember how the movie ends and what the killer's motivations were or any of that. So I'm almost useless to you guys when it comes to this. So Steph's got it all figured out. He's gonna lay it out for you.
You know he does, man.
Robbie, take notes.
He does. Hit him with it.
By the way, I'm watching this. I was watching part of the movie by myself. My fiance is off in another room, and I'm sitting there while I'm watching the movie. I'm like, I think I can. I'm like, yeah, I can quack like a duck. And
was that the first time you realized you could do it?
No, it's just been a while, right? It's been a while.
I can't do it, man. I've always been jealous of people that can do that.
Finally, she yells over, "Would you shut up?" They're quacking in a room by myself.
You're over there practicing. I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and say what I kind of think. So I was alluding to the idea of what they were doing with the dude that was putting together the psychological profile, and they're kind of making this comparison between what's the difference between someone like him. He's just hiding it They're a little bit more like willing to go into these seedy theaters and into these Puerto Rican bars and like invite these situations upon them, right? And there's like with Jane, there's this whole element of embarrassment and submission that's going on there. These are real things that, especially people that are like writing shit that's way more what you would consider today in 2022 sex positive oriented ideas about sexuality, like that, a lot of that is being portrayed here, and how it's closeted at top, but at the bottom it's just more open. So what's the fucking difference? The rich, wealthy, affluent people are the same as those at the bottom going to these fucking peep shows and whatnot, right? And then, like I said, there's the eye thing that's always a motif in a Fulci film, where he's like, fuck it, I am not going to restrain myself. I am going to show everything I can think of showing. I'm going to make you uncomfortable. I'm going to make you fucking sleazy because you have come here. I have a career because you have decided I need to make these movies you want to see. You have seen the movies I've done. You're watching a movie called New York Ripper. You have seen the movie poster. I'm going to give you exactly what that is, exactly what you want, and make you uncomfortable that that's what you want. And I think that's the boldness and the provocativeness and the genius of Lucio Fulci. I think he does that in all of his fucking films. You asked for it. Here it is. I hope you have to. I hope you have to fucking think about it for a minute.
Give me 1 second. I gotta let the dog.
So, what do y'all think about that idea?
That was well said. Well said. I like that.
Absolutely.
I can't top that. So
I would say if that's the case for this film, then you could say that about all of his films. I think it's part that and part he's just got that fucking mind where he's good at he's good at coming up with stuff that's going to make you feel uncomfortable. I'm sure that is an aspect to it.
Yeah. Right. And it's the escalation of things where everybody's got to outdo the last movie.
Right.
Right.
And he's got to outdo himself.
Exactly. I think it's wild, man.
Like my buddy, he watches every like new horror movie that comes out. Him and his fiance go, and like when I bring up Italian horror, like I just said a couple days to him, he's like, "Oh yeah, I've heard this. It's like it's all about shock," and I don't really think of it as that. I think more like a torture porn, new era, like Hostel. I could see you thinking that more about Hostel,
right?
And the Saw and stuff like that. There's more to. Like the Italian horror it has the shock for sure, but when you watch an Argento, that's not what stands out to me. It is when you're watching Fulci, the shock stands out more, but Argento is more of the art and the craft of the film and the look of it. That's the feel of an Italian horror film. Although there is some gore, but after watching a couple Fulci movies first and then watching Suspiria, I was honestly let down by the gore in Suspiria. I was like, oh. I thought this was the guy.
Bruh, they literally rip a chick's heart open.
No, I know.
Chest open. There's a beating heart there. Come on, man.
No, I know, but would you agree compared to Zombie and some of the gorier Fulci stuff?
I agree.
A little tamer.
I agree 100%, but Argento makes death much more beautiful.
100%. Yeah. He's a much better. He's got a better eye
visual.
Yeah.
He's got this like surreal, dreamlike quality to a lot of his films. Even things like Tenebrae or Deep Red that feel like they should be. They're more realistic and grounded, and it's just there's something. But that's what's beautiful is like they get obviously Argento and Fulci and others, right? The Bavas and other filmmakers, they get lumped together, but they're as different as Eli Roth, James Wan, Wes Craven, Tobe Hooper. They're as different as those filmmakers, and it's beautiful.
Dude, what's interesting, you've probably heard this before, but like initially I'm like, oh, Italian horror. I'm like, these Italian audiences, yeah, they're up for it. No. Like I guess in Italy, people are like, who the fuck is Dario Argento? Like these movies got popular over here, but not in Italy.
Yeah, and they get popular worldwide.
Right.
They ship them all out. It's like Hong Kong cinema almost in a way, right? And there's a lot of similarities to me between the Italian horror films and the kung fu films I've been watching, like the Hong Kong ones, because they're like made, they don't even bother to record the audio on set because they know there's going to be dubbed in so many different languages, right? And yeah, but this movie did well in Italy when it came out. It did well. It did well for what it was, and most of these films did. So the audience was international for these films, which is something that doesn't necessarily, I mean, I don't know, man, but at that time, it didn't really necessarily happen that much where like things were like worldwide, you know, like obviously this movie didn't make a fucking ton, but like, I'm sure like, I mean, there's no information on it, but the box office is like 1 billion. I think that's what, Italian lire or something. So from what I was watching, and this is from the Blu-ray set, there's a really cool bit. This dude's like a Fulci historian. He's on all of these Fulci films. Who is he? I'm trying to think of it real quick. It is, Stephen Thrower. He is like an expert on Fulci. And he's the author of Beyond Terror, the films of Lucio Fulci. He's basically the Fulci historian, and he illuminated a lot of that. And he mentioned that the film did really well for its release in Italy, which I don't think, though, you can't compare like Italian cinema to American because we expect everything to be a fucking blockbuster. But for what it was, I think it was pretty successful.
Right.
But it is still to date his most controversial film. Like
I could see it.
People do not like this film. They think it is vulgar. They think it is base. They think it is vile.
And it is.
It is, and that's why we love it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So, am I the last one up for what I think the movie's about? That we're rating?
For a second, did anybody else for a second think Max Headroom was here? Because I did, but now I realize it's just Steph. Okay.
Let's see.
Even better. Yeah.
Shoot, I guess the one thing I would say is maybe about parent and child relationship, and how, you know, parents should not have to see their child die before them. You know what I mean? So it takes them to this place where they just mentally snap and break, and the person they were is just gone, and they're resentful like this guy, and he just starts fucking picking people off, you know.
But by having the duck persona, he was able to place that onto another character and not himself.
Yeah.
Thus, he was a clean, good person. So it is obviously, too, as Dylan was alluding to, about how these people that would say a movie like this is vile, like that's how he feels. He's killing these people because they're vulgar to him. They're like roaches. They're like deviants. They're sexual deviants. They're fiends, right? So like, yeah, bro, like this dude was sex negative, and look what that leads you to.
Yeah.
Be sex positive. Because this movie is.
Straight up. Straight up.
They're killing people, you know? Just have some sex.
Hell yeah.
You know it.
So, rating time. Anyone in the chat, if you've seen The New York Ripper, throw your rating down below out of 1 to 5. You dig, slips. Y'all know how we do. Who wants to drum roll it off on the rating? Who wants to go first? Robbie, Vern, Steph?
I'll get it rolling. I'm in the proper spot.
It's like nobody. I love how nobody ever wants to be like the guy to like, I'll go first.
I'll go, and this is kind of what I alluded to earlier because last week I gave Pieces a 4.0. I'll give this a 4.0. I think there's a lot of things, obviously, that we've touched on that are better in this film. Even better kills, a lot more craftsmanship behind the camera and all that. But there's not really much fun. It's an uncomfortable watch, and it's meant to be that. So it's, you know, it's same score for a lot of different reasons. Still not much in story that I never get wrapped up in the story of these. Although this one is pretty solid for the Italian horror films and the story. But Yeah, 4.0, a solid 4.0. Some of the best kills that you're gonna see out there, and some crazy sexual stuff. And that nipple,
Yeah.
And they split a nipple.
it's right down the middle. I wish they would have showed it from the top afterwards. Like,
But I think it's so effective though, because you see like this kind of effect.
mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, it's gnarly.
Yeah.
Steph, my man, what you thinking?
I think I gave Pieces a 3.35, and
Yeah, me and you
like I
were
said,
at 3.5s. Me and you
okay.
both did 3.5s.
And I think this was a better film. Like I said, I think it did everything better. It was shot better. Some of the kills, it just seemed better. I dug the music, like I said. So if this was like some of his weaker music, I really look forward to his other like the impact his other.
Dude, this is like the weakest music fucking
I
ever.
just sent you a theme on IG a little bit ago. Just listen to it. I think you'll like it.
Nice.
I'm excited.
Send me a theme for Zombie 2. So
it's actually a real shame, man. It's a
Am I
real
watching Zombie or Zombie 2 first?
Zombie and Zombie 2 are the same film. We'll get into it.
Dawn of the Dead. It's because it's Zombie 2 is a sequel to Dawn of the Dead.
In Italy, Dawn of the Dead was called Zombie.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they did an unofficial sequel because you can do that in Italy, and they called it Zombie 2. But in America, it's called Zombie.
Which is super fun to think of it that way.
Romero,
you could put it in there
cool
with
them doing it though. Since he worked with them, he was probably cool with them doing
Romero wasn't there. No, it was. I don't know.
He wasn't there, but
it wasn't.
Sure he knew about it.
I don't think Argento was pleased, to be honest with you. But I don't know. I'd have to dig more into that.
Oh shit! What am I thinking? That's not Argento. Yeah, that's fucking Fulci, man. Damn.
Yeah, because Argento did Zombie.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah, that's
in Italy. It's called Zombie, and then the Fulci film is Zombie 2. Here in America, it's just called Zombie, bro. That's the one you get. Okay, Fulci Zombie.
Because to us, it's we know now, but back then it was probably But could you imagine if you were like back in the '80s and you're like, there's an Italian sequel to Dawn of the Dead. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to find that on VHS, like, dude.
But I'm gonna follow Verno. Like I said, it was better than Pieces to me in every aspect. So, but similar. Like I would grade them very similar. In the same realm, but this was done slightly better. A bit more of characters. Like there were no characters in Pieces, honestly, or main characters. I feel like there was way more focus.
Bastard!
Oh, man. The dude doing the hedges and shit, man. That was a lot of good characters.
Yeah,
Groundskeeper Willard.
The guy, right? But I dug that. I dug the psychology aspect and the whole mystery thing they were going for. It's different, and and they embraced the whole slasher thing at the same time. You don't really see that too much nowadays. So yeah, I think very enjoyable film, well made. You can tell that this dude has an eye for it. So 4.
Nice.
Out of 5.
Hells yeah, good job. Respectable rating, sir. Robbie, my man, what are we thinking?
I am right there with y'all. 4 ya digs, 4 slips, 4 backlogs, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's 4 out of 5. It's not my favorite Fulci film, but it doesn't mean it's not a good film. I love it. I love its brashness. I love its boldness. I love how daring this film is. I love what it's trying to do. It's trying to make us feel uncomfortable. It's working in subconscious ways. I think this movie has a level of craft to it that we don't see in a lot of slasher films of this era. And I love it. It doesn't win me over through characters, through atmosphere or music, but atmosphere is still there, actually, because it does present the seedy side of New York of its time incredibly well, or at least an outsider's perspective on it.
Right.
So I think it's a solid film, and I'm going to go 4 ya digs.
Heck yeah.
And to the guy out there giving it 2 ya digs, come on, man, take it easy on these women.
It's tough, man. I'm almost at a 3.5 because I'm disappointed with that score, man. I with Fulci, man, we should have got better. I'm gonna give it a 4 though, because I do think it is a little bit better of a movie, definitely, than Pieces, and I gave that a 3.5. With the practical effects as well. The only downside is really the score for me on this. Other than that, it's a really well made, sleazy New York Giallo film. You know what I mean? With a guy sounding like Donald Duck. You know what I mean? So it's definitely worth a watch. It's definitely one of a kind, that's for sure. I wish, man, we could have got like they could have remastered and done a whole new score for this, man. Because I'm telling you, man, you get a good score in here, it's a game changer, bro. That shit could perfect this movie, you know. Like to but yeah, man, 4 all day. I know Gary, my main man Gary North, gave it a 5 slips. Jerem gave it a 4 you digs. Todd gave it a 4 slips. Jerem said good pick. Dylan killed it. Zach I give it 3 split nipples. Good job.
Hell
I
yeah.
like that. I like that.
I like that.
That's
should have said
6
that.
halves of a nipple.
Yeah, no shit. And by the way, I'm the one that picked this fucking movie.
Well, hey, it would be 6 out of 10 technically. So
if Dylan does an Italian horror film, I usually told him, dude, I've been on his ass to do this movie for months.
Well, I'm the one who did the Gates of Hell. I sparked that trilogy.
You're right. Right.
But,
and then we followed it up with the Mother of Tears, man, or the Three Mothers trilogy. So
yeah. So we got 4s all around. Vern, did you give it a 4 or did you give it 4 or 5? You gave it 4. 4's all around, man. With a 5 from Gary and a 3 from Zach. That's an average score of 3.969, baby. Let's go. So
suspect.
Oh, dude, I forgot to do it. We're supposed to say what the next week's movie is in the beginning.
We'll get them next time.
Next week. I got
true believers will know.
Yeah, the real ones that were here will know. So next week we will be reviewing Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, starring Michael Rooker.
Hey y'all, I'm Mary Poppins.
Oh, fuck you.
Phenomenal film. I'm telling you guys, if this is one you guys haven't seen, this is a really good film, man.
Wow. 1986.
Really good.
Yeah, bro. He's got hair and shit.
That's cool.
This movie should have won him an Academy Award, bro. Like straight. It's a great film.
Yeah, it is. I haven't seen it in forever. Like at least 12, 13 years. Bro.
Oh, really? It's been a couple years for me because I remember I'd rewatched it when it was on first put on Shudder a couple years ago. So I love it though.
This is
it's based on a true story.
It's on Peacock. It's on Vudu. It's on Tubi with commercials. Looks like it's on Amazon Prime. So it's an accessible film. Hell yeah.
Easily available.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I'm gonna work on a list for like the next month or two, and then we'll get that around because I know there are a few people that do like to watch them ahead of time. Like Two Gun will kind of binge through and go through. So for any of you guys that want to watch the movies ahead of time,
I would like to watch them ahead of time. This game. I know we don't care about Rotten Tomato scores on here, but this has a very good Rotten Tomato score for a horror film.
It's a really good film because it's a great psychological thriller.
Right. That's how you get
maybe not quite Exorcist 3 level, but it's there. It's good. It's getting there. Great performance by Michael Rooker, though.
Did you see what I showed you about speaking of freaking Blatty? You saw that Blu-ray I was showing you about the night configuration?
Yeah, I saw
that. I think I'm gonna pick it up. I really.
If it's still available at Payday, I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
I kind of went through my Blu-ray budget. I got Heroes Con coming up, man. I got a lot of beers to buy.
I've never seen it, but it's Blatty, so I feel like it's with the print run being so low. I wouldn't get it otherwise.
The DVD's really expensive too. So it's like get it now. It's only 1,500 made. Scream Factory. It's available right now.
Yeah.
If you're out there and you want to buy one, buy 2, send 1 to me. Buy 3, send 1 to Dylan.
Gary said,
buy 4, send 1 to Steph. Buy 5, send 1 to Vern. No, fuck.
And we'll review it. Gary said Arrow put out a 4K for Henry. Nice. I didn't know they did 4K, but I did. I was pretty sure they did something. I didn't know it was Arrow. I thought Criterion maybe did it. But yeah, it's definitely a fun film. not really fun, but a lot more serious. Like Robbie said, psychological thriller. It's a great movie though. We've been back and forth with some silly stuff, sillier stuff lately. I mean, this was sleazy, but it'll be nice to kind of do like a serious psychological thriller. I like to mix it up, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. No,
But I definitely got some good stuff upcoming for the future. Like I said, I got a list going. And I was going through some of like Shudder to see everything. I was just going through all the shit they had, and I came up with some good stuff. There's just so much I want to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And lately, what Zach said, I'll send you one, Robbie. Yeah, send me one too, bro. Send me one first, and then if there's time,
there's extra.
Robbie. But was there any news this week before we get out of here? If any of y'all got something for show and tell, I get it ready.
I got nada.
We'll do something before we dip. Yeah, I don't really. I thought I was gonna get it. It's not coming till Monday though. But remember, I told you I got that. So I did that full moon.
Oh yeah.
Subscription service. I got the Evil Bong box set, but I was trying to figure out my 10 Blu-rays that I wanted, and I finally narrowed it down after I watched a few. I was trying to watch a few to see, because I'm gonna do it next year and then order another 10, because I plan to own the entire Full Moon's fucking catalog. And for like $60 to buy 10 Blu-rays that are 15 to 20 bucks a piece, bro, how can you beat that, bro? And especially, bro, I got $180 box set, $165 in Blu-rays, and a year of their subscription service for $65. Bro, it's like over $300. You know what I mean? For $60.
Oh, yeah.
Might as well get subspecies while you're at it, right?
Dude, I want to get the Life Force because I think it has the disc 2 director's cut on Blu-ray that was out of print on the Blu-ray.
Oh, wow.
But I think it might be missing tiny bit of footage. Stephen King reveals upcoming novella Rattlesnakes, his sequel to Cujo. Netflix planning to premiere Tim Burton series Wednesday this fall. Horror movie Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey turns the beloved character into a slasher maniac.
I don't know how I feel about that, y'all. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Seen the trailer yet?
Never heard about it.
There's not a trailer yet, but there's some images.
What is it? It's Winnie the Pooh as a
Blu-ray.
Winnie the Pooh's in public domain now.
Okay.
So somebody made apparently a very subversive horror film with Winnie the Pooh characters.
Yeah.
Him and Piglet go on a rampage after being abandoned by Christopher Robin, and they eat Eeyore and then go on a murderous rampage.
Is this a cartoon or a live action?
It's like
puppets?
people they're wearing masks.
Well, it's like a Furby
it's
film.
It's probably like a very cheap made
That's what it's looking like.
fan film type shit, and it's just getting some heat because it's Winnie the Pooh
doing crazy shit.
It's called Blood and Honey.
Yeah,
Gives me the vibes of like Simpsons porn you see.
Yeah. Robbie, I think you might be the only one who has anything for show and tell today. Did you have it ready, bro? I'm trying to think about it. I don't think I got anything.
Yeah, but can you share that? That's the Winnie the Pooh thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that Piglet next to him.
Oh,
yeah, I was gonna say Piglet looks just
weird.
So this is like barely Winnie the Pooh.
Right, yeah.
By name and reputation.
Yeah, the Winnie the Pooh looks like a stony Winnie the Pooh, definitely. But
Piglet looks like Pumbaa.
Yeah.
Pissed off Pumbaa.
When I was a young warthog.
When he was a warthog.
I was in a horror movie with
shit.
Winnie the Pooh.
So, did you say I was the only one with show and tell? Fuck.
I think
all
so.
Right, well,
I didn't get my package. It doesn't come till Monday, so
obviously there's that.
I'll have a good. And I have that, but
I never had this on Blu-ray. I've been rereading the work, so I did get this in today.
Nice.
And that's the one with the uncut version and the theatrical cut. So I like that. I got it super cheap on eBay, man. But you can buy used Blu-rays cheaper on eBay sometimes.
Yeah.
We just covered this We just covered this on PCP Movie Night. Brooks recommended it. Changed my life. I went out and I made sure to get Dead Man starring Johnny Depp on Criterion
nice.
Blu-ray. I got in my Pieces Blu-ray.
Nice.
Which does come with the soundtrack.
Let's see that.
Oh,
It does come with the soundtrack.
Yeah, it comes with the soundtrack. So it's 3-disc set. It's got the soundtrack right there and the movie.
Cool.
And it's got the Spanish version with the original score that I was talking about. So I'm excited to check that one out. This is one we definitely got to put on the list, Dylan. I'm so super happy I got it and picked it up. I got a copy of Popcorn.
Oh, I got Popcorn.
I know you do.
Oh, that's a sin. You reversed the artwork.
Yeah, I reversed the artwork to the original, but that's what the new artwork looks like.
Yeah.
Looks like it's not a good film, but it's awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I have that. I never was it. I haven't been able to finish it. I tried to watch it once and I didn't get all the way through it. So we'll definitely have to do that.
Several years ago, I was at a con, like a local con in some other town, and I met this artist. He did some really cool work. I found the prints that I bought from him. I never framed them. I always intended on hanging these up. He gave me this one for free.
Oh, sick.
Nice.
But it's kind of got like it's the Creature from the Black Lagoon. So the horror of Party Beach.
Oh,
that's made to look like an old comic book cover. So there's that. These ones I bought from him.
Nice.
I like the color.
Yeah. I found these, so now I got to get them framed.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's got this cool, like, cartoony style.
Yeah.
I liked it. And there was I have a smaller one with the cereal monsters, like Frankenberry and Count Chocula and Blueberry. But how about this one?
Oh,
that's
cool.
dope.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, so I got to get those framed. But that's what I got, man.
Jerem says a little more sleaze, please. We could do that. We'll get Life Force definitely has a little sleaze, but sleaze in a good way.
Yeah, I got that Scream Factory on that, man. I'm
Yeah,
always down to do Life Force. That's a good horror fest movie, bro. We do a Toby Hooper, like 1-2 punch. Maybe I pick one, you pick one, right?
Yeah. I want to get that 4K release because I want that. It doesn't come 4K. It comes on a Blu-ray, but I want that director's cut, dude. Everyone says that's the essential way to watch it, I guess.
What a badass 1-2 punch would it be if we did like Poltergeist one night and then did Life Force?
That would be crazy.
Like
bro.
that's like the two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was gonna say straight up. I think. Yeah, I didn't. Man. Oh, I guess I could show this. It's really small, but. I got
Be right back.
Dude, weirdly, like I'm a huge like sock guy where I have a shit ton of like Marvel socks and you know what I mean, but I never got horror socks for some reason. Like they're just always so expensive and you only get like one pair for $20, so I just never did. I usually get like the Marvel ones, like you get 6-pack for $8, you know. But I found these at Walmart. I'm actually wearing a pair of them right now.
I swear to God, if this is the same pack I have.
It probably is.
Oh, it's not. No, that's dope.
I got these from Walmart. So this is Pennywise. Obviously, I Love Dairy, which I actually really like the orange on these.
Yeah.
Kind of unique.
Yeah.
Kind of like some tiger stripes.
I'm gonna make my way to a Walmart.
The Nun. Yeah, dude. Check them out. Dude.
Oh,
These are
nice.
cool. The Nun. I like these a lot as well.
Those came in a pack?
Yeah, it's all. It was kind of like it was cool because it was a variety pack. It's not like it was just for one movie. It had so Nightmare on Elm Street. So we got it, The Nun, Nightmare on Elm Street, The Exorcist.
Like that one.
It says I am not Reagan on the like kind of like in blood.
I bet you got a Friday the 13th one too.
I do got those are the ones I'm wearing, and then Annabelle.
Oh,
nice.
I like that one. Yeah.
The Conjuring at the bottom, which is cool. This one, I like this because it actually looks like a real picture of Annabelle. The other ones are kind of cartoony, or like the Nun is cartoony, and the Reagan.
I love that. Instead of just pulling his sock off.
Well,
nice.
I had shoes on.
No, see, I knew what the properties would be. I have a set that I got last year.
Yeah.
From Walmart, and so now I got to go get the new ones. But like the ones I was just wearing, that's the. What do you do? There's the ones I'm wearing right now. These are Friday or Nightmare on Elm Street ones.
Oh, that's fire! Yeah,
that is.
And it says Freddy on the.
Yeah.
So I have like, and it came with Annabelle, Exorcist, Friday 13th, Shining.
Really?
And
Pennywise. Yeah, I
those
wear
sucks.
those.
That
I
was,
wear these a lot.
It must
Christmas
be all those
and Kwanzaa
properties in
socks.
like Stephen King or something.
Yeah, it's just like I got to go get those now. So that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, check them out. I got my girl some Dragon Ball Z ones.
I got some of the Fright Rags
Nice.
ones that are really good, bro. Because I got I got the Bride of Frankenstein,
yeah.
the American Werewolf in London, and the Mummy ones, and they're
You got
really
the Mummy
sharp.
ones?
Yeah,
Dude,
they're really
you gotta
sharp.
send me pics. I was wondering, are they like thick? Are they good material? Because they're
really good material, but they're like thin good. You know
Yeah.
those thin socks with good material? They're more like
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Yeah, I've debated on getting like a pair or two, like a Michael Myers or something. They got some.
If you
cool
got thick ankles, don't bother.
Nah, not really.
You don't look like a thick ankle guy.
Yeah, no.
I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, there's there's a couple sales going too for Memorial Day, so definitely.
Yeah, lots of sales out there. Get ready because Vinegar Syndrome, Shout Factory, Scream Factory are about to do their like halfway to Black Friday, Halloween
Dude,
shit.
I think Vinegar
stuff, so.
already did theirs. It was like yesterday.
Well, there's another one about to be coming up when they do the halfway to Black Friday
shit.
shit.
They're supposed to do Texas Chainsaw Part 2 on 4K. Vinegar.
I saw that, man. Yeah.
But,
They got a nice one. They just did a Trauma for the Argento film. I got that.
Yeah. They did a re-release of Graduation Day with like a new slip too.
I know. I'm like, God damn y'all.
They did this movie called New York Ninja, I believe, and it was like a movie that never was finished, and they brought it back after all these years, and they revoiced it. They like could never find the sound, the real voices to it, so they brought like Linnea Quigley to voice some of the. They brought in some like classic like names to voice some of the characters.
That's dope, man.
And they finished the movie and put out a release. I haven't gotten to watch all of it, but I know you've been into the kung fu lately, especially Fable. Definitely one to check out because it was kind of like a lost film, a forgotten film that never got to be put out because they had lost some of the stuff. So it's cool they kind of went and back and finished it.
Yeah, man.
So Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, on basically almost on all out on streaming platforms, Amazon, Shudder, Vudu,
Peacock,
Tubi.
Check it out. Do your homework. Anything you guys want to mention before we get out of here?
Rock and Robbie live tomorrow night. The official after party of Blame Fable tonight. No PCP movie night or EXP show for Monday. We hope you have a good Memorial Day. So.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah. Have a great holiday, guys. Steph, I know you wanted to shout out the show for Fable tomorrow, where they can find y'all. That one's on
into Rock and Robbie, Blame Fable show with Big Herm and I, of course, Fable. We got Chasing Nostalgia as the guest, and we're going to be reviewing the new Chippendale Rescue Rangers movie.
Nice.
So.
I saw that, dude. I threw that on last night for a little bit.
Yeah.
At kids.
It's a fun one.
I'm tempted to fucking do it so I can do a double feature review, man. I'm tempted to watch it. I'm tempted.
Dude, check it. You'll have fun with it.
Yeah.
Vern, you got anything you wanna or Sir Quacksalot, you got anything you wanna anything coming out or work's been hectic?
No, that's it, man. I'm good. I'll be here next week.
Hell yeah, you will. Love it, man. So Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, do your homework. Michael Rooker, you cannot go wrong, straight up. Hope y'all have a great holiday. Have a great rest of your weekend. Love y'all, man. Peace out. Y'all have a great one.
Pop, pop, boom.